Welcome to this special edition of This is a Prototype, the Design Leadership Podcast. Last month, I hosted a webinar on building diverse design teams in which I spoke to some of the top leaders in design about the importance of building a more diverse, equitable, and representative profession, and what we as individual leaders can do to make that happen. The event was also a fundraiser for an organization called Diversify by Design and their program Design Equals, which provides curriculum kits, teacher training, mentorship, and career guidance to middle and high school classrooms in marginalized communities. Design Equals is facing an urgent funding crisis, and throughout this event, we were directing audience members to the program's Indiegogo page to contribute donations. You can learn more about Diversify by Design at their website, dxd.design. This episode is part one of a two-part recording of that event. Part two will drop in my podcast feed next week. My co-host for the event was design leader, educator, author, and TV presenter Kevin Bethune. And Kevin and I were joined by an absolute A-list of special guests throughout the event, including Oen Hammonds, Shawn Williams, Ellen McGirt, Tysonn Betts, Omari Souza, and Debbie Millman. We also heard from the students and teachers who are working with the Design Equals curriculum kits in their classroom. The issue of the diversity of the design profession is deeply complex and systemic. It involves many interconnected factors. But one thing is undeniable. When young people are exposed to design at an early age, they have a much higher chance of pursuing a design-related career. That is why programs like Design Equals are so vital, and that's why I'm so deeply committed to this issue. As we join the discussion, I'm about to welcome co-host Kevin Bethune into the program. Let's listen in. I want to invite one of my favorite people in the design profession to join me, the author of two remarkable books about design and leadership, Reimagining Design, Unlocking Strategic Innovation, which came out in 2022, and his most recent release, just out earlier this year, Nonlinear, Navigating Design with Curiosity and Conviction. He's a designer, a leader, an author, an educator, a TV presenter, for goodness sakes, and my co-host for this event. Welcome, Kevin Bethune. Great to see you, sir.
Great to see you, Doug, and thank you for having me, and it's wonderful to partner with you for such a great cause.
Yeah, it's so great to have you with us today and alongside me as we really sort of examine this issue. We'll take a look at it from a lot of different angles with a lot of our special guests here. Congratulations, first of all, Kevin, on the publication of Nonlinear. It instantly found a permanent spot on my design bookshelf and on the reading lists of my leadership courses. There it is. I want to jump into a discussion about Nonlinear. But first, before we get to that, I have a special announcement about the fundraiser side. I said we had some incentives to throw out there to get the donations coming in. We have an anonymous contribution of $250 that's just been put up as a matching challenge donation. Here's how it's going to work. This donor has put up $250 on the contingency that the audience is going to add their $250. So the quicker we get to $250 in audience contributions, we will activate that $250 matching contribution. Will double our money. $250 becomes $500 at that moment. So let's go for it. Get to Kevin's got it right there. We've got the links all over the place. It's in the chat. It's in the upper left corner there, the QR code. Please go to the Indiegogo page, make that contribution, help us get to that $250 activation. Kevin, Nonlinear, it comes on the heels of your first book, Reimagining Design, which was published just a few years ago, 2022. What was the inspiration for nonlinear? What was the space that you wanted to explore with this book that maybe you hadn't gotten to in reimagining design?
No, appreciate the question. And I would say the first book was sort of the argument for design at parity at the problem-solving table, design with a big D and a dollar sign, perhaps. And there were a lot of frameworks, perspectives, how to build a creative problem-solving capabilities within organizations. With nonlinear, I think there was more to say around what does the journey feel like to actually navigate toward that new and novel innovation that teams are trying to unlock or provide value to the market. And I would say that nonlinear turned into not another process book, but it's more a book around the intuition that's necessary to make subtle choices and really appreciate the nuances, the nonlinearities that is creativity, honestly, to sort of help teams navigate that forest of proverbial ambiguity.
Right. Well, and I mean, you embody the idea of a nonlinear life and career journey. Take us. I mean, my goodness, you started your career as a nuclear engineer. You went back to school for an MBA, which led you to Nike, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Can you take us through a few of those key points there in this amazing journey you've had?
No, appreciate that. I can honestly say, as a young person, I drew for hobby all the time, but I couldn't connect that to a creative, formal career path. So perhaps with the love of math and science, engineering made more pragmatic sense to start my career. And I'm very thankful for that, just to learn how the world works, especially in the context of nuclear power. But fast forward, I would say a curiosity for business crept into the professional work, because I didn't have any business courses navigating undergrad. It was all technical. So just wanting to connect the dots eventually snowballed into the MBA, and then landing at Nike, thankfully, that was an environment that embodied not only the strategy, the tech, but also creativity. And that was just a wonderful environment to begin to scratch the itch and explore the curiosities. And fast forward, I also was noticing how the world was converging to appreciate multidisciplinary collaboration. We were seeing at the time the rise of Apple with integrated ecosystems between hardware and digital services, and Apple was collaborating at the time with Nike Plus, Nike Digital Sport. So just these coalescing, I saw a little bit of myself at those fuzzy intersections. And I ended up going to grad school for a second time after Nike to really solidify my creative leg of the stool and position myself for innovation work for the rest of my career.
You've got a grad school problem, Kevin. I have to say, I don't know what the next degree you'll go for is. You're running out. You're running out of possibilities on that list. Talk to us about. I know at Nike you started out on the business side of that organization as a business analyst, and then you started. Obviously Nike, an incredibly designed forward company, and you started to notice that side of the house. And I know there were some really key designers and design leaders that you found at Nike in that era that really sort of fueled this interest that was growing within you for design. Can you tell us about some of those individuals who made a difference at that time for you?
No, absolutely. I think for the most part, when people saw me coming in that environment, they saw, this MBA person, numbers guy. That's what Kevin represents. But in scratching the itch of curiosity, I just started networking. Nike being the collegial culture that it was nothing to have a coffee chat with someone. And then you start to notice there are a few individuals that give you a little bit more time to learn about you more than just your title. And a couple of souls that were just like so generous with that. Albert Shum, who eventually became the CVP at Microsoft. Albert Shum was this interesting business design hybrid guy. that basically invited me to just contribute on the side for some of the initiatives that he was driving. And so that was like the first invitation to begin to just start to problem solve with a multidisciplinary aperture. And then the second individual I mentioned was the first gentleman that gave me a brief without a home, was Dwayne Edwards, who at the time was the footwear design director for the Jordan brand. So he gave me some runway. He's like, I'll give you a shot. Here's a brief. We'll commiserate in the mornings together. And he would get in the office at 6 a.m. So I would meet him at that early hour. We would commiserate. We would go do our day jobs, and I would work on his stuff until the wee hours at night and then show up the next morning. And so over the course of a year, Dwayne allowed me to design 2 shoes for the Jordan brand under his mentorship. So it's just so thankful that kicked off my formal design career.
Right. And Dwayne Edwards then goes on, of course, post Nike, founder of Pencil Lewis College of Design in Detroit. We'll hear a little bit more about that. In fact, one of our guests coming up, Shawn Williams, has a reference point with that school. But so many great sort of threads of this story that connect to the core issue that we're addressing here, which is building diverse design teams. You write in Nonlinear, you say we need to ensure our teams actually include representative members of our diverse society. Representative teammates could broker authentic inroads into these communities that we have yet to authentically engage. I mean, this reads like the mission statement for this webinar, for this fundraiser. I know you've seen firsthand the power of the positive outcomes of building diverse design teams. Can you talk more about both those outcomes, but maybe even the challenges of getting there?
Yeah, I would say across the board, unfortunately, a lot of celebrated creative teams, design teams, innovation teams, whether they're agency or in-house. Unfortunately, I would say the makeup of representation just does not reflect the diverse marketplaces that we're designing for. I mean, the world is so much smaller. It's moving so much faster, and the issues that we have to problem solve against are more complicated. So it's imperative that we just ensure that we have the right composition of team that can respond fluidly with those needs. So I think we're all familiar with, how great teams have talked about designing for their customer or their audience, and then even better, designing with, where you're in a co-creative sort of relationship. But I would just encourage organizations to interrogate how their teams evolve. You are designing for a diverse marketplace, so your teams should mirror. And I'm not talking like HR quotas and some of the tactical ways to interpret that. I'm looking at it more as an opportunity, an advantage to be more innovative and relevant and resonant with who you're serving by just ensuring that those same folks are in your teams. And one of the things I love to do in my current business practice is with client partners, we might have an idea of a hunting zone, opportunity space that we want to begin to interrogate for latent unmet needs. But with humility, I try to encourage the team to have an open aperture, and let's go identify wonderful creative folks that are already pioneering ground in those areas. Maybe they don't have a big brand behind them. Maybe they don't have scale yet in the proverbial terms, but what they're doing has value in someone's life. Let's go invite that person to collaborate, and not in an extractive way, but let's actually incentivize respectfully their time and their talents, and bring them just into our team. And maybe that person becomes a full-time team member of the team if we broker those relationships, because their authentic inroads into those communities just unlock tremendous amounts of nuance, respect for culture, and deep-seated innovation that will have impact. So let's humble ourselves and have an open aperture.
Yeah, I love that. I love the themes of humility, of curiosity that you're putting out there for us, Kevin. So important. There's some Design Equals, the program that we're supporting today, is a program of the organization Diversify by Design, which is doing a lot of important work in this space. They have some data on their website about the current state of diversity across the design profession. They draw this from the Zippia study, And the current, according to this study, the current data suggests that, or tells us that 76.1% of designers in the U.S. are white, 3.5% are black. That is a stark and disturbing number, and it's been that has been the case for as long as design has been around. So we've got a lot of work to do. Can you speak to that disparity and what you're seeing across the industry?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm careful to say is I can only speak for me as a Black man who's navigated corporate America. I understand what marginalization feels like, and having felt, as I made some of those multidisciplinary transitions, the resistance where people might have just perceived me as less than or not able to be as talented, or pick your assumption before they even got to know me. Having to navigate those misperceptions and assumptions were difficult and painful. At the same time, as a male, I understand what privilege feels like when I enter certain rooms and my voice is given the benefit of the doubt compared to my peers of other genders. So that is just something that I think about. But at the same time, I could be in one of the most celebrated team rooms, boardrooms, executive rooms, and I look outside the company walls, and the cognitive dissonance, the biases, the harm is still being exacerbated. And now in a generative AI paradigm, it's only being magnified so much more exponentially. So
right.
I think about this all the time, but again, I'm very careful to say I can only speak for my lived experience. I don't want to speak for someone else's. They should.
Yeah. No, great input there. Kevin, we are, I'm seeing some great activity from the chat here. I want to give a few shout outs to Greg Story, whose great book is one of our fundraising incentives. We got Jess Tremblay in Austin, Heather Olson in Minneapolis, Chris DeSantis. Great to see you in the chat, Chris. Rhett Bennett, hi, another Austinite. Great to see you all, and some great comments and great energy happening in the chat. Kevin, Design Equals brings curriculum kits into middle and high school classrooms, and we've got a video right now from a classroom teacher, a high school teacher, Susanna Fattorini from Culver City, California. And Susanna has just some great stories and some great examples of the work that's coming from her students using the Design Equals curriculum kit. So I think we're ready to roll with the video here. Alicia, if you want to push play on that, and we'll come back and talk about it in just a minute.
My name is Susanna Fattorini. I am a visual art teacher at Culver City High School in Southern California. I wanted to make a little video to talk about the amazing experience that I and my students had with Design Equals. This curriculum would work in almost any classroom, anywhere where there's a design concept, which doesn't have to be in an art room. And I was so happy to sign up for further collaboration where Design Equals got working designers to come and visit my students in the classroom and mentor them on a project, an album cover project. And it was really just an acrylic assignment, but it was meant to be expressive of some part of their culture, their lived experience. This says pool party. It's a little bit more playful. These are these two twins from when they were little. This was about trips taken with a father who would kind of go off-roading and go explore in places that maybe weren't necessarily allowed, and the great memories that the student has about that. Dreams of UC Berkeley, dreams of the future, love of racing, and some mental health struggles. And it was a really great experience. We were able to do a pop-up gallery of my students' artwork at a local design place of the designers where the designers had come from. And the designers that shared their stories about how they had arrived at design was really, really important, because a lot of them had started as a doctor or a lawyer, and then somehow had said, wait, I'm creative, and actually I can have a future in this. And as a high school teacher, that is something that students really struggle with, is figuring out what they're going to do. They're stressed about money. Art can feel like something that's not going to make you money. So it was really important. And I will say, if this is being presented to anyone that's thinking of donating or contributing financially to keep this program running, I'm at a high school that gets financial support. The elite arts program gets financial support, but I'm in the classroom with the students that don't see themselves as artists. So this opportunity was amazing, and it wouldn't have happened without Design Equals. So.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know. Goosebumps, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Susanna, for that just powerful message. I mean, first of all, Kevin, those album covers. I mean, beautiful work. I don't know about you, but album cover art was my genre in high school. So I'm particularly resonated with me. But one of the things that's important about Design Equals and about this fundraiser is how direct it is, and that the donations that our audience is making in this fundraiser are going to deliver those curriculum kits to Susanna's classroom and to classrooms all over the country. And importantly, when you think about what the donation is actually paying for, we need to train the Susannas out there, the classroom teachers, to deliver this curriculum. We need to train the designers who are the working designers who are going into those classrooms to play that role of mentor. So that is a big part of what these donations are making. Speaking of donations, we hit our challenge goal of 250. We're way past that, so we're making great progress on the fundraiser. Keep it coming, folks. We'll have more incentives along the way, but please go to that donation link, scan that QR code. Kevin, over to you. Before we bring in Oen Hammonds, any reflections on Susanna's video there?
It's just so powerful. I mean, every moment like that where you're introducing the idea of a creative path to a young person, you're giving them permission to feel okay representing themselves and creating new stories. And just the colors that I just saw, it just speaks to the beautiful tapestry that is our broader world, our diverse world, and all the different intersectionalities, all the different stories of lived experience that can help us down the road shape a better world if we encourage these folks to continue down a creative path.
I couldn't agree more. And there was also something that Susanna mentioned in that story that really kind of caught my attention, and that is that the students in her classroom are not, they don't think of themselves as artists or designers. They are students who are, for whom that spark hasn't really been ignited yet. So another important aspect to this thread.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like we are ready to invite a special guest, our first special guest to kind of come into the live environment with us here. Kevin, we want to bring in from Austin, Texas. We've got a lot of Austin folks here, which is great. Oen Hammonds is a distinguished design executive at IBM, where he's worked for nearly 12 years. Owen and I worked closely together at IBM for many years. Owen, looks like you're in the IBM studio in Austin right now. That's awesome. Owen's
familiar territory.
Yeah, familiar territory for me. Owen's also an AIJ Austin Fellow and an educator at Austin Community College. He's an advisory council member for Diversified by Design and Design Equals. Oen Hammonds, great to see you, buddy. Welcome, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Doug. It's great to be here.
Owen, great to see you again. I think we've crossed paths at Design Management Institute a few times.
Yes, definitely. It's been a minute, but it's great to see you as well, Kevin.
Yes. So we've been talking about the power that inspirational people have had on the trajectory of our lives and careers, which is a huge part of what Design Equals represents. I know you've had some key people in your journey, in your path. Can you share one or two stories with us?
Yes. Coming off the heels of Miss Susanna, like I had the exact same experience where my high school teacher taught a after school program, one of the many ones that my mom put me in because this is a way of keeping me out of trouble. But my high school teacher taught a storytelling program that really just helped students kind of like exercise more their creativity that she couldn't really teach in the classroom then. And I think one of the key things about that program was that it was really what we would call hand lettering and illustration today, because it was about mashing those two things together to create single poster design then as well too. And that was, like out of all the programs that my mom put me in, or like that put me in, or like I joined, that was the program that I can honestly say was the trigger for my trajectory into design, because like it really just helped me tap into my creativity that I didn't really know until I joined that free after school program to just really unleash that, like that opportunity.
I mean, I love that story. I had that same kind of figure in my high school, years, that teacher who just, without that teacher, I'm going in some other direction, and maybe I find design eventually, but not in the not as directly as I was able to. Kevin, just briefly, I mean, we're talking about those high school years. You've got a teenage son at home, right? And who's right in the sweet spot for this. I mean, I imagine you're seeing a lot of these sort of light bulbs and kind of inspirations happening with him and with his classmates and friends.
No, definitely. He's just starting his sophomore year this week, and so we've just had a mindset to just expose him to it as much as possible to help him. Just feel encouraged to go experiment, to go talk to someone. And those opportunities definitely open doors for the potential internship or the potential summer camp experience that he might not have known was there if he didn't just speak up and ask. And we're doing our best to just connect him to the right folks.
That's awesome. Owen, you're an advisory council member for Diversify by Design and Design Equals. What drew you to this organization, and what is it here that is really your kind of direct connection?
Yeah, programs like Design Equals, as things are happening in the world around us, and not just this year, but like over the past several years, to me, it seemed just pretty obvious that like these programs are diminishing in so many communities, and particularly inner city communities as well too, because they require funding, they require support, they require people to volunteer to help and put on these programs as well too. And so when I follow Diversify by Design, very religiously on the LinkedIn, and seeing a lot of their programming, and as I saw that it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse, I was like, I've got to this is my way of doing something. It's this is my way to I have the opportunity and the privilege to give back, so this is my opportunity to do that then by joining Diversify by Design, by contributing not just as an advisor, but also financially as much as I can as well to make sure that these programs continue.
Well, we appreciate your longstanding commitment. That's awesome. And you're also an educator, and you've taught in multiple academic programs, and you're just getting into this new school year at Austin Community College, which I understand has a really diverse student body. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
So tell us about the students in your course, and how do what guidance are you giving them as they think about looking ahead to a career in design?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, community colleges in general are set up to support a larger group of people who don't have the opportunity or don't want to go to the big 4-year colleges or programs and such as well too. And so, it is the open door to that diversification of race, gender, social economic background. And, over the past several years, it's gotten even broader because, now high school students can get college credit, while they're still a junior or senior in high school then as well too. So the range of students that I have in my classes can go from, someone that may be a senior in high school that has determined that I'm interested in this design, let me take a couple classes to see if it's the right thing for me, all the way up to people who are on their second career. It's hey, I've always been creative. I like to do creativity. I want to move away from my traditional 9-to-5 job and do something different to tap into that then as well.
That's great. I'm familiar with that program, and just such a great program. And I know you do a great job in the classroom there, Owen. Owen, we're cruising through our agenda here. Really grateful for your time. Before I let you go, I have an announcement from our fundraising side. We've surpassed $1,000 here, and so we're making good progress. But let's keep it going, folks. Let's really keep it going. We just got another $250 challenge donation. So as soon as we hit $250 of donations from the audience from this point forward, we activate that $250. We double our money. We go from $250 to $500. So let's make that happen. Owen, thank you so much for being here. We're going to go to another short video. We've got one of the another advisory council member, but also a mentor, a classroom mentor for the Design Equals program, Shawn Williams. Shawn's a footwear designer for Vans. He's got an amazing backstory, and we're going to hear from Shawn in this short video. Alicia, let it roll. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Shawn Williams. Currently a footwear designer with Vans, and been a Diversified by Design advisory council member since 2023. So it's been an amazing experience so far. I wanted to kind of take a little short summary of kind of my journey into design and where I come from and how I got into the industry. I was actually a former social worker before I became a designer. Just specialized in helping individuals with disabilities, individuals from poverty find employment. But I always had a passion for drawing. Growing up in Richmond, Virginia on the East Coast playing basketball, drawing basketball sneakers. Never lost the passion for it. And then I embarked on this journey that took me through the Pinto Design Academy that gave me an opportunity to do an apprenticeship with Vans, and then I got hired on. So I've been at Vans for almost 3 years now. So I've been loving every minute of it. And I had an opportunity actually to spend some time at Wilson High School a couple months ago in Long Beach in the LBC. So got a chance to kind of hang out with the students, kind of judge some of their projects, kind of share my journey, share some of my work. But I was inspired. The talent is just off the charts, the excitement, the inspiration. The kids inspire me, right? So that kind of gets me pumped up to, to do what I continue doing what I'm doing. But it's been an amazing experience. And then, we have the program, the Design Equals, program. The kid is really beneficial. It's really a game changer in the classroom. It just kind of opens, the world of design to communities that, oftentimes it doesn't reach to that point, right? So it's important to continue to, if you can, donate to the program, Design Equals, to keep this thing going. Right, it's more schools ask for. We want to be able to answer the call, right? So it's community over everything. It's just about elevating the next generation.
Oh, I love that. Shawn, the energy. I love that what he was saying there about him being as inspired as the students. And I feel that too when I have a mentoring relationship but wow, just great energy. Kevin, any thoughts on Shawn's video there?
I just love his energy and the fact that just watching his path from a distance. I don't know Shawn personally, but he's definitely the real deal in terms of footwear design reputation. Yeah. And then, it definitely amplifies just another testimonial of the great things that Dwayne and the Pencil Lewis Academy folks are doing. And just an interesting anecdote. I mean, none of the students, I don't still believe, are having to fund their way through a pencil experience. Like corporations are rallying for all the right reasons because they're getting access to incredible talent with incredible lived experience and representative of the cultures that are so vibrant for the future of footwear.
Yeah, amazing. And he referenced his background at Pencil Lewis, which we're talking about, Dwayne Edwards' school in Detroit. So, Kevin, we're gonna keep hustling here. We've got another guest teed up, and one of I keep saying this, but another one of my favorite people in design.
Mine too.
So far, we've focused on the Design Equals program and how it works on the ground and in the classroom. We heard from Shawn. We heard from Susanna Fattorina a moment ago. Our next guest is going to help take us up several thousand feet for a broader view of diversity, equity, and representation across the design industry and the broader economy. Ellen McGirt is editor-in-chief of Design Observer and host of the excellent Design of Business, Business of Design podcast, and formerly a senior correspondent for Fortune, where she edited the Race Ahead newsletter and co-hosted the Leadership Next podcast. Ellen McGirt, great to see you.
There's no party like this is a prototype party. This is like, I wanted to be here all week. I wanted to be here with all of you. I want to never leave. So thank you for all of this. God, I love you both so much.
We love you.
It's great to see you, Ellen. You and I spoke recently for an episode of Design of Business podcast, and I didn't know it at the time, but you were going to pair my interview, the interview that you and I did, with another guest, and wow, you had Alex Pollock from Catalyst on. And had this amazing conversation with Alex, and Alex shared some fascinating new data on the effects of businesses backtracking on their DEI policies and commitments, and conversely on the business value of more representative teams and workforces. Can you share a few of the highlights from that conversation with Alex Pollock?
Absolutely, and we thought it would be a good pairing, specifically because you were the star of the show from in our conversation. Is that what you have learned and what you teach us about convening and about prototyping and also about collaborating and stakeholderism is exactly what the work at Catalyst that they were trying to preserve. She was amazing. For anyone who doesn't know, Catalyst has been analyzing information about workplace and gender equity for more than 60 years. And they were working with the Meltzer Center for Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging at NYU, which is a great resource for everybody here going forward. And the name of the study that you're citing, Doug, is a snitch. It's called Risk of Retreat. That's really the headline. It's what everyone needs to know. And it spelled out exactly what we were hoping they would find, that the business case for diversity, which I know has been fraught over the years, is real, and that customers want to know that they're patronizing inclusive companies and they will be loyal. Mm-hmm. That effective DEI measures boost innovation, boost retention, make happier communities, happier families, all those kinds of things. And DEI, which we know has been mired in highly effective and very ugly attacks and smears, is a powerful tool for business success. And the one big headline there is that the 2,500 executives across industries that they interviewed, almost 80% agreed, like it's absolutely confirmed that DEI positively correlates with financial success. So if you're having a problem with DEI, we know it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's and I would encourage the audience to seek out that study, but also that episode of Design of Business, Business of Design, which is always great. And that I love that conversation with Alex Pollock. Kevin, over to you.
It's such a poignant landing point for us to just continue to reinforce. And Ellen, you spent time earlier this summer at the Aspen Institute, and you spoke to leaders of a variety of industries, from public and even private. what common themes and patterns emerged from those discussions that you were a part of?
So, this is the part where things got really difficult when you're talking to actual people dealing with actual things. And I was there. I'm very lucky to go every year. It's the Aspen Business and Society program of the Aspen Institute. And actually Design Observer profiled them for the Design Observer 20, the people who are redesigning the world, the people for business and for good, which is literally every single person here. And there were very big names represented there. It's, Pepsi, IBM, JP Morgan, USAID, State Department. It is an eclectic group of people who really believe in redesign and collaboration tools to make business better. And I will tell you that the opening plenary felt like group therapy, right? Progressive initiatives within established brands under siege. Leaders who have dedicated their lives to transformational ideas are struggling under continued legal attacks and all of the attacks to their reputation, the shaking the confidence of their team members. ESG, you can't say that anymore. We talked about a world without USAID. That's a huge component in how businesses operate around the world. But if anybody says tariff, everybody's work gets thrown off and they have to start over again. So we're seeing chief executives increasingly pulled into very real turmoil, and lots of, the people, the creative people, the leader people, Kevin, I really focus on first time and mid-level leaders, the people who are tasked to do the important work of bringing all the work of an organization forward are increasingly alone to navigate some of the inclusive leadership skills. And here's the good news, it was also time of deep work and solidarity. And if any of you are in a position to throw even a small convening, this is a prototype type party, bring people together because it really makes a difference now. The setting invited candor, everyone brought their best ideas, they were focused on collaboration. If you are at all interested in embracing a stakeholder approach, stick with it. It's going to get you through. Look for unexpected partnerships. And Kevin, it's time to be nonlinear. I mean, that's where that kind of corporate courage comes in, because nothing is going as planned. It never really does, but now it really, really doesn't. And I think the biggest takeaway that it's time to be a super communicator. This is transparency within organizations. We can talk a little bit about some of the practical things that people can do to build inclusive muscles in their organizations, but leaders have to be prepared to communicate clearly what they're thinking, what they're doing, what's happening, and to be available to hear how other people in their ecosystems are doing.
Love it.
Wow. Yes. Bravo. Ellen, thank you. That was great. And I love that you've offered some opportunity for us to act, to take action, and that there is a possibility for us to work together to find a better place with all of this and a better path forward. Ellen, we're hustling through our agenda here, and I would love so much to spend more time with you. We'll find time for that in the future, but thank you so much. I understand also on the fundraising side that Design Observer is putting up and making another a matching challenge donation. Tell us what you're going to put up on behalf of Design Observer, Ellen.
Because I believe in this work so much, and I believe in the talent pipeline, and I believe that we all should be investing in the beautiful people and ideas that are going to change the world. We're putting up $500 for a challenge match, and we're hoping that we can meet that today. And thank you so very much for the opportunity to be here and to support this work and just to be around the inspiration.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Ellen. As soon as we meet $500 in donations from the audience, we unleash and activate the Design Observer matching contribution. So let's get on it, folks. That wraps up part one of this two-part special edition of This is a Prototype, the Design Leadership Podcast. Part two will drop in my podcast feed in about a week. Special thanks to Alicia Syriac, the producer of this live recording, to Scott Leach of Brand Speak Communications for his production support, and to Graham Barton for his original theme music. You can learn more about my work as a design leadership consultant, trainer, and coach on my LinkedIn feed and my website, dougpowell.design. Stay tuned for more new episodes of This is a Prototype coming soon. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.